All done, from the throw-in.
Polo is a game of dynamic changes once the ball is in play. Although there are certain plays that can be made during the game, you're really at the beck and call of the speed of the game, opposing players, how the ball is being played, the field conditions, your horse's ability, your ability. Because of that, when the ball is not in play and you have a chance as a team to be able to create play opportunities, that is something that should be taken advantage of. The three areas where we discuss these things are knock-ins, throw-ins, and free shots. This is a knock-in situation. First off, what we want to do is create some type of understanding about vocabulary or signals. From my point of view, what I define as the inside of the field is a lane that runs from goalpost to goalpost. That lane is 8 yards wide because that's the width of the goalpost. Under ideal circumstances, what we would do is we'd ask all the opposing players to ride to the outside of that lane. We would gain control of the inside of that lane, and we'd carry the ball down to the goal and meet them for a throw-in. Everything we do to create knock-in situations should be oriented towards two major philosophies. One, do not allow the opposing team access to first opportunity at the ball. Two, gain inside control so that the team we're on has the advantage of having a shorter distance to travel to goal. With that in mind, I'm going to set up a couple knock-ins with the understanding that this is dependent on individual capabilities. It'll also depend on field conditions, the amount of wind being blown, whether or not you're on a good horse, whether you're up by 10 goals or whether you're down by 10 goals. All these things will have an effect on the knock-ins. But we're going to go under the belief that what we're doing is we're going to practice knock-ins. So we're going to a practice game to establish a pattern under which we can perform when we do go into tournament condition. Ideally, what we're going to presume is regardless of the number of the person who is knocking in, he's actually out and playing back because he's the furthest from his own goal. So he's going to approach the ball from the back line. Now, we have very different patterns that we can set up. The classic standard pattern is considered to be a diamond. So what we do is we put our number 2 on the boards, we put our number 3 to the inside, and we put our number 1 further out. Now, I understand that in game situations, this may not be their actual positions, but this is what reality is taking place when we have the knock-ins taking place. So what we're trying to do is establish what is called, in my opinion, an inverted triangle. We are trying to create an opportunity for the man knocking in to put polo balls in this area. We're trying to create a triangle for him to put polo balls into this area. We're trying to create opportunities for him to put polo balls in this area. What we don't want to do is create the tight end of the triangle, the furthest distance away from him, so that this triangle now becomes this triangle. We are trying to avoid that because what that becomes is a race. Somebody has to run to that point. The point of receipt of that polo ball is very small, and that means the opportunity for success becomes less. All of these things we're trying to avoid. First off, we don't want to be further from the man knocking in than he considers to have a normal comfort zone. So if he hits a nice polo ball at 60, we don't want to be 80. We want to start at 40 and be at 50 when the ball is put into play. Number 2, we are going to try to avoid going in straight lines up the field, because in that particular instant what we're doing is we're creating races, and a race only has one winner. And unfortunately, most people run faster and further than they can control themselves, so in reality, they're beat before they start. What we are trying to create is angles of opportunity. What we're trying to do is create situations where we go across the field, and that means that all the polo balls that would be put in this area, we can go back into them and receive them. This is the only time on the polo field where I, as a captain and a coach, tell my team, I am not interested in you marking an opposing polo player. I'm interested in you in creating an opportunity to receive the pass with the belief that we need to put the ball at midfield on every knock-in, because midfield is neutral territory. If we can't reach midfield, in actuality, the defensive team has succeeded in holding us in our defensive zone or their offensive zone. One of the simplest knock-ins is a simple cross. A simple cross takes place when two players from the same team start in one position and end up making a cross. We will take the number 1 and the number 2 and the number 3 on the red team at the moment. As the number 4 circles to the ball, these two players start across the field in this manner. They see to it that they attempt to make the cross at the time that the number 4 makes initial contact with the ball, with the understanding that more than likely he's not going to hit away first time. He's going to dribble the ball probably at some angle, 10, 15 yards, and then we are going to be opening up an opportunity for him somewhere like this for him to drop the ball into that area. Our objective is to get the defensive team to have to make a commitment or a read on a change of where we are. This is the simplest knock-in there is, in my opinion. Okay? A second knock-in, and one that has been most successful when you are at the next level of commitment, is what I consider to be a signal knock-in. That means that I, as an individual on the field, am signaling to the man knocking in that I am either going to bear hard left or bear hard right on every knock-in he makes until the defensive team demonstrates they can stop me. Classic would be chuckers 1, 3, 5. Number 2 is going to go hard left, and number 1 is going to go hard right. So we are in chucker number 1. The knock-in is going to take place. What's going to take place is this number 2 fades a little to his right side, and just as contact made, he bites a hard left-hand turn. Because it's an odd chucker, the number 1 now does the opposite. He fades a little to the left initially, and then as the ball is being struck, he bites back hard to his right. We can do the same thing with our number 3 on the inside. I will cover one more, and that is what I consider to be the straight line commitment. What we do is we line up our number 3, our number 2, and our number 1 in a line directly in front of the man knocking in. What we do is we start with the furthest player being inside the comfort zone. Let's say the 60. Next player behind him being the number 2 would be at the 50, and the third player being the number 3 would be about the 40. What they do is they ride away and they hold mallet up, or they drop mallet down. Mallet up signals go left, mallet down signals going right. As the number 4 looks up there, he says all players have mallets up. That means all players are going to bear hard left. Now, these are things that you have to practice, because if not, in the heat of battle, you'll put your mallet up, be sitting out there, he says you're going left, he bangs the ball left, and lo and behold, you're going to the right. Now understand that what we have to take into consideration is, if my opposing player is playing me to the left, chances are I don't want to go left. If my opposing player is marking me right, I don't want to go right. So these are aspects of the game that we need to take into consideration as we play. But these are the kind of knock-ins that you need to practice to create both a team strategy and an understanding of performance capability within the team.